On the first Red Bull class, and we're going to run this whole thing together on Facebook because we don't have that many Red Bulls in the show today. So I think we're going to see a total of 39. So these early classes will be a little larger, and then we have some smaller classes. So we're just going to keep rolling right along, as I'm sure the judge will too. And we will do the Red Bull show all in one stream. So one stream for the Red Bull show. Let's see if we can get this camera to back up a little bit. I'm a little trouble getting my camera to back up. Okay. We'll go with that view, maybe. See what y'all think about that one. See if we can get that view to back up a little. Woo! Sorry, fast ride. It didn't respond at first, and then there you go. Wow, okay. Alrighty, so we are in the Red Bull show. Red Bull show. And it looks like he's pulling. So it looks like first is going to be the Walters livestock entry. And we'll talk this class here in just a second.
Top pair of bulls here, somewhat similar in their type and kind. The one that's a little more stylish, a little cleaner made of the pair is the one we're going to start the class with. One that's ultra correct from end to end, really right in terms of his angle through that navel. A bull that offers a lot of style and balance to go with, again, a good center, a good body, a good set of feet and legs underneath him, one I like on top. Maybe a little bit more in terms of muscular shape is the one that we probably have in second compared to our class winner, but he gives up a little of the overall correctness and style points that we see in the other bull calf. He's a bull that by far is a touch thicker ended than the bull we just described, and I think he's adequate in terms of his navel, just maybe a little bit more there. A bull that's a little bit more advanced in his testicular growth today, and there's a lot more we can tell on that as we get on down the road, but a bull again that I like, probably the more thicker ended bull in this group outside of the one on the fourth hole. And then the greenest bull in the class is the one that we have in 3, but I like this guy. He's ultra correct. He's really clean made. I mean, look at that navel and that front 1/3. You talk about cleaning up your cattle. This is the kind of bull that can do that for you. He's obviously young. He's going into that hip a touch steeper out of that hip today, but good set of feet and legs underneath him. Love the white points right above. Again, a really stylish, clean-made bull that I think as he gets a little bit older, regardless, he's going to be one that kind of stays in this top tier. A bull I like in terms of natural thickness is the one that we have in the fourth hole, one that just gets a little bit more rounded out of his hip for me today. The young man does a pretty good job of getting that shown out, but again, on the move, I like to see him just reach out a little bit longer and leveler out of his hip. Got a pretty good one here, rounding out the last two in the class. Love the pigment that this red female has. One that gets really small in terms of the veil size down low. Gets a little more undulating in terms of the navel as it gets to that point. But I think a relatively clean-made bull as well. There was too much either muscle or style ahead of that bull, and that's just kind of how he sorted himself into the fifth hole. And then we round the class out with probably the biggest framed of the group, a bull that, again, a little bit straighter off both ends today, didn't necessarily want to plant and flex for me today. One that obviously is going to have to grow kind of into his hip, but also has a lot of good style to him as well, and a pretty good heavier set of feet and legs underneath him. Nice first group.
Okay, that was class 29, and we had Walters Livestock in the first spot. That's going to be that KF Pacer Rojo 101.
Placings for class 29 late spring bull calves. First place goes to Walters Livestock. Second goes to Doucette Cattle.
And Doucette Cattle was second with their Mr. LCC Codiga 148/0. And that's going to be a JDH Mr. Generation
and
son.
sixth place goes to Razorback Farms. We're skipping over class 30, which has one entry, and we're going to bring him in with the division drive.
So as they said, they're going to skip class 30.
In the ring.
So
These
we are
late
now going to go
bull-
into
late
class
junior bull
31.
calves.
Okay, so we're going to class 31. Oops, sorry guys. So we're going to class 31. This is class 31, and we have 3 entries in class 31. Class 31, we have 3 entries. Sorry, guys. Again, this is class 31. Back up a little bit for you guys.
We're going to start with this bull here on the far end, one in my mind that wins this class, one that I really like. As long as you say he's got enough bone, and he absolutely does, then you have to like this bull. He's ultra correct, he's really square and level out of his hip, he's really clean made, short in terms of his navel, has a little bit more bail up front, but they got to have some for us to even recognize him as being a bull because he's really clean. I love how square he is out of his hip. I love his depth of side, balances up relatively well. And again, he's good for me in terms of his feet and legs. He's one I find fairly easily on top. Then we got a really thick-made, muscular bull that we have here coming in second. One that obviously has different traits and characteristics. If you want to put some muscle and things of that nature and some frame, he's absolutely going to do those things for you. Not as clean in terms of his navel or the angle there of it compared to our class winner, but one when the young lady gets him kind of reached out and stretched in terms of leveling him from his hooks with his pins, you get behind him, you really like this bull. He's got a good set of feet and legs underneath him. Again, just a touch steeper out of his hip, maybe not as cleanly made as the bull that wins this class, but you have to like him for his natural width and thickness. And then we've got kind of a bull that is just an outlier in this group. He's actually a pretty bull, and a bull that probably could throw some pretty females. He gets a touch straighter off both ends of his skeleton, but oddly enough, both from his knees all the way down, all of his points, from his knees down to his toes, everything's straight and true. So again, he's a touch straighter maybe off that back too, doesn't flex as much, but he's got a prettier hip than the bull we just described. I think more days and time on feed, we'll kind of see where he ends up in this trio.
Okay, that was class 31. So in class 31, our winner was the CT
Results
Red
of
Hot
class
Rhino.
31
That's going to be the
late
CT
junior bull
Mr.
calves.
Elmo
First place
Rhino,
goes to Joyce Custom Bitters.
son, and
Second
out of
goes to
CT
Kendall
Madame
Shepherd.
Bordeaux. And in second,
And
we're
third
going to
goes to
have the
Carrier
Kendall
Cattle
Shepherd's
Company.
entry,
We're
which is
now ready
Mr.
for
Emmett
class
87 over
32.
0. And this is going to be a
Early
Mr.
junior
Comanche
bull
daughter,
calves.
son, out of Miss Broken Triangle 887. Okay, we're getting ready to move along into class number 32. Class number 32.
First and seconds in this
32.
calf division, you do not need to go back to your stalls. You need to stay in the makeup area.
Yeah,
Thank
they
you.
do, don't they? Let's see if I can get a little straighter. There we go. You're a little crooked there. Okay, so we're getting ready to come in with class 32. We only had one entry in class 30, so it's just going to come back in during the division drive. We're in class 32, and we'll do division drive next, I believe. No, I'm good, thanks. Okay, class number 32. We're going to put you guys on autopilot here for a little bit. See if we can kind of get some of these gray female photos ready to go up onto the internet. We have the red. Michelle, I think that maybe we did do the PDF, but if not, we will get that shortly. Let me see if I can get somebody back at the office to handle that and get that PDF up. Okay, we're looking and we're going to see if we can get that PDF up. Yeah, we have it. Do you? Okay. We have it, and we had put it up online, and people were downloading it.
Okay.
So yeah, we have it.
Okay.
It's just
Perfect.
I don't think they got it up yet. But we will do that, Michelle. We will do that shortly.
Got a bull I like a lot, a relatively complete bull, and this darker bull here on the front side. One that I like in terms from his feet and legs and the squareness he has out of his hip and down his top. You can see a lot of top shape there with this bull. Steps down on a good set of feet and legs. Relatively nice angle. Again, one that just kind of elevates itself fairly easily in this group. One that I like that we have in second. Real correctly made bull. I'll say first and foremost, I'd love him to be a little bit more structurally big from the ground up. He's a bull though that's too clean and too pretty out of his hip for me to put any lower in the class. Ideally, I'd love to see him a little bit bigger footed, a little bit heavier structured. But that being said, he's got a lot of scrotal circumference in terms of circumference and width. I think he obviously, as we get a little bit further on down, we're going to find out if he's got enough bone. I think he does today. It's a little bit deceiving in terms of the color points on his legs. Again, I'm probably talking too much about a bull that has enough bone, but no matter what, he was obviously going to be in that second hole because he's the really correct, really strong top, really strong behind his hump bull in this group of four. The next bull coming is a real rugged featured bull. One that's got a lot more foot and bone underneath him. A bull that, again, you have to like from that standpoint. Big frame, long patterned as well. A bull that just gets a little more undulous in terms of his navel. And that front 1/3, I'd like to clean him up just a touch there. The most scrotal circumference in the class, again, would be him. Hopefully our immature and babies and things of that nature. Now this bull that I round the class out with, only because he doesn't fit the class, is he fourth. There's a lot of good in this little bull. He's got a little bit more navel than we'd all love to see, but outside of that, he's good out of his hip. He's ultra thick. He just doesn't fit the class. He's shorter cannon, shorter sided, only compared to this class. Outside of that, I think there's a lot of good in that bull, and in terms of overall muscle injection into your herd, he might be in that top pair for sure in this group.
Results of Class 32. First place goes to Merino Ranches. Second goes to Joyce Custom Fitters. Third goes to Carrier Cattle. And fourth place goes to Walters Livestock. We're now ready for our calf champion and our Red Bull divisions. Class 29, first place was Walters Livestock, KF Pacer Rojo 101. Class 2 was a single entry. First place, it went to Razorback Farms, Mr. Fontenot Razorback. Class 3, first place was Joyce Custom Fitters.
Okay, we are in the calf
And
championship
Class 4,
drive.
Merino Ranches.
Calf championship drive. Here.
Didn't get to talk the second bull here in this lineup, our class winner single entry. Big frame, long pattern type of a bull, really long through his cannon. But really good for this bull as well. He's strong behind his hump. He's relatively long and level right there out of his hip. A bull that offers some cleanness there underneath. Good set of feet and legs, not ultra rugged, but I think it fits his body type. Again, a nice single entry. For me, it gets a little bit tighter. I love this bull calf here on the far end, a little bit young for me to use today, but I absolutely love just the style and balance and appeal of that little young bull. And again, I'm not going to say that, I mean for champion, I don't have fear in using that for possibly a reserve, but it gets a little bit tighter. You love the style and balance on that calf. For me, the one that kind of stands out though in this group is the big black bull, one that I like in terms of his depth of side, his balance and levelness, especially from his shoulder to his hip. He's going to be my calf red champion today.
Okay, we have our calf champion. It's going to be the Moreno Ranches.
Again, as we come back,
that's Moreno
we
Mr.
appreciate
Blackjack.
coming
That's going to
back
be a
from that
BB
group.
Bronson's son
And
out of Moreno, Miss
love the
Lady
baby,
Ready.
love to see the baby a little bit further down the road. For me though, I've got another bull that's a little bit more advanced in his age. Sure has a lot of shape to him. Love him out of his hip. Offers a really good, balanced, eye-appealing total package for me, and that's the bull coming out of the third class. He'll be my reserve.
Okay, and our
calf.
CT Red Hot Rhino 17/0 is going to be the reserve calf champion that is a
Calf
CT
champion
Mr.
came
Elmo
from the
Rhino
Moreno
son
Ranches, Moreno
out
Mr.
of CT
Blackjack,
Madame
and our
Boudreaux.
reserve calf champion came out of class 31. That would be from Joyce Custom Fitters, CT Red Hot Rhino 17/0. When
Okay.
we're ready for our intermediate champion drive. Not yet.
Okay, we are
We have a
moving
class of two,
into
and then we have two
class
single entries,
35.
and then we
Class
have a class of
35. Class 35, we have a 2. Then we have single entry, and then drive. And it looks like my team is getting the, let's go over here. Getting the bull programs up. So we're getting those bull programs up. We'll be posting that in the comments. We're going to be posting that in the comments here in a moment. And that way you guys can see what the entries are. And this is class 35 that we're watching right here. This is the first class of the red intermediate bull division. First class of the red intermediate bull division. Then we have 2 single entry classes, and then we'll be moving into drive. Our bull classes are a little smaller. Just because they're smaller doesn't mean that the quality is not just really great. So we've got some really good cattle here today, and we are moving into the, as we said, the moving into the first class. Whoop, took you for a fast ride there. Sorry, guys. First class of the intermediate.
Got a bull I like a lot here in the top of this pair. One that just really reaches out there. Super athletic off both ends of the skeleton. The style and balance of this bull, he's pretty good. I like him out of his hip. Again, really clean made type
Hey,
bull,
Garrett.
one that you really like to watch in motion, and he doesn't disappoint you when he stands on the side either, profiling for you. I love the center body in the bull that we have here in second. He's got tons of rib, and he's really uniform in terms of his rib depth. He's a bull that gets a little bit shorter through his cannon, so he kind of runs a little bit downhill. I think if his shoulder could kind of catch up to his hip, he'd be really tough to get around when he's standing still profiling. Doesn't reach out like the bull that we described in terms of on the move, but you absolutely have to love this bull from the shoulders back. He has tons of center rib, got a good square hip in him, a lot of muscle from behind when you view him on the move.
Okay, that was class 35. I'm not sure if they're going to be bringing in like the division since we had 2 single entries, or what we're going to be doing. So we're going to let you guys know here in a minute. No, it looks like we're going to have the single entry. Maybe we don't have a single entry. Maybe we have another one. Okay, I'm a little confused. Oh, they skipped the 2 singles and they're going to, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, Team Heritage, keeping me straight here. I was not in the loop.
Our
So we
champion
skipped the 2 singles, and now we've moved into class 38. So this is going to be class 38. Then we'll go into division drive, and in that division drive, we'll have those 2 singles. So we're going to have J&L Cattle Services with their Maximus son. We're going to have Walters Livestock with their K-Bar Farm Mr. 95. And then we're going to have Schulte. So we're waiting for 2 more in here, but I would imagine they probably didn't know.
Results of class
Hey,
25
Garrett.
late senior bull calves.
Garrett
First
is
place
with us
went
from
to Walters
AT Brahmins.
Livestock, and second place went to Avonlea.
And
Oh, God,
Barry
please tell me how
Smith.
to
Barry
say this
Smith, don't
again.
know if you're on the grounds or just watching, but Barry, we're going to do
Mitch.
finish our Red Bulls, and then
Thank
we're moving
you.
into the
Mitch.
Gray Bulls.
Thank you.
And you're watching live on YouTube. Yes, you can watch on YouTube, Barry. You can. I don't comment on YouTube because I can't watch everything at once. But yes, you can watch live on YouTube also. We should be streaming there also. So we're on Facebook, we're on our website, and we are also on YouTube. And just so you guys know, all the red female class photos that we took while we were in the arena and the group class photos while we were in the arena are already up on our photo site. So that's really exciting. And we are working on getting our gray female photos up on the photo site also. Backdrop photos we will get up later tonight. So we won't be getting up the backdrop photos until later tonight. Sort of like a one-armed paper hanger over here, trying to do a lot of different things. Really appreciate y'all's patience with me. Ooh, got a little too bright there. Sorry, guys. Woo, taking you for a fast ride. Sorry, that's the remote camera, guys. I wasn't able to, they put me in the wrong location, I guess.
The bull in my mind that is the most correct and the freest moving. Obviously, we just came out of the heifer show. It's probably not the right term to use in a bull, but he's the prettiest of the three. He's the one I really like in terms of his size and scale and his balance and eye appeal. He's the cleanest made bull. In terms of the angle from his navel, he's a bull that's really clean and ties in cool at the point of his shoulders. Really long pattern type of a bull. He's rugged enough for me. And outside of that, I think he's one that you really have to like on the profile. More importantly, you set all three of these bulls in motion. He's probably the one you'll like there as well. The one that has a ton of body to him is the bull that we have coming in second. He's got so much rib shape to him. It almost, it's hard to compare in terms compared to the other ones out here because he's so deep middle. It works a touch to his disadvantage because I don't think he balances up as nice as the bull that we just described, but you have to love the thickness he has out of his hip. He's a bull that hinges fairly loose in terms of his hip and hop. He's ground covering enough in terms of that stride. I just really like the long, stylish red bull that we started on the top end. One in terms of overall expression of muscle, you're going to like the one that I have in the third hole. Once you get right behind his hump, you can see the power as he ties into his loin all the way out through his hip. He, like the bull we just described, is a little bit shorter stride, a little shorter in his motion today. I like the angle of the navel and how clean this bull is compared to the one I just described. But there was too much product and power in the one that came out of that second hole to compare. And again, that's kind of how I sorted these three. A lot of differences between them depending on what your breeding program is going to be. I'd take any one of them home.
Results of Class 38, first place went to Walters Livestock, second J&L Cattle Service, and third went to Schulte Cattle Company. We're now ready for our intermediate champion drive.
Okay, we're in the intermediate champion drive, guys.
Out of
Some
Class
of these
35,
cattle we haven't
first
seen.
place was Walters Livestock, KF Mr. 96, and our second place was Avonlea Niche. I have trouble with that. Mr. Cassaray Tony 5/91. Class 36. First place was Heritage Cattle Company, Mr. H. Maverick Rojo. Class 37 was Herzog Cattle Company, Mr. H.C. Axel 119/9. And Class 38, Walters Livestock was in first place with KF Mr. 95, and second place in that class was JO Cattle, JLCS HB Mr. Skip Rhino.
Okay, guys, so in this first spot, we have the KF Mr. 96. This is going to be a Mr. CC Casanova son. In the second spot, we have the Mr. H. Maverick Rojo. I just love this bull. He is a Mr. H. Bubba Rojo son. I just I'd like saying Bubba Rojo. It's just fun to say. That is a Team Heritage bull. In that third class, we have the Herzog cattle entry. That's Mr. H.C. Axel. That's going to be a Maximus son. We all know Maximus. In that fourth class, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. In that fourth class, we had the KF Mr. 95, and again, another Mr. CC Casanova son. So those are our 4 that are in for champion consideration here in the Intermediate Red Bull Show. Okay, I think we're trying to get that link into the comments. So we're working on that. We're just adding them to the comments. I believe that somebody in the staff is working on that because I was trying to do it in video and do photos and everything else all at once. So thanks guys for watching, and we're trying to get the bull PDF up.
Had 2 single entry bulls. We didn't get to talk in class. The 2 here in the middle classes. The one that's a little more feather spotted neck is one that really has a lot of good to him. He's got a lot of power from his shoulder to his hip. He's a bull that's really thick but yet level out of his hip. He's a bull that steps down on a fairly good set of feet and legs, gets a touch straighter but still ground covering, athletic, and everything is pointing forward and true at this point. A bull that, again, you like the amount of natural fitness he has, holds himself together relatively well out of his hip on the
like
move.
We have
then you've got a really expressively made a lot of volume of muscle in the bull single entry that came out of that 3rd class. A bull that gets a little bit lighter in terms of his framework down below, but similar in his type and kind, a bull that's still everything straight and true and pointing forward. You like the amount of thickness he has out of his hip, gets a touch steeper out of his hip, but there's sure a lot of muscle from end to end, and you have to like those things about him. So with that being said, give me just a second, and let me pick your red intermediate champion.
Okay, we're getting ready to pick the red intermediate champion. So there is a link now, guys, in the comments. So Michelle, I think that was, who was it that was asking for it? It was somebody that was asking for it. Was asking for the link. Anyway, if you were looking for the link,
senior class winner here on the far end, he's going to be my red intermediate champion. Love the style. Love the profile of this bull, and he's thick enough for me.
Okay, so we have our intermediate champion. Our intermediate champion is going to come out of that oldest class. So the intermediate champion is going to come out of class 38. That's going to be that KF Mr. 95. That's going to be a Mr. CC Casanova 500 son out of the JDH Miss
For reserve champion again, love the center in that big bull that comes out of that 2nd place class. I'm going to follow a little more in terms of type and kind and the kind of bull that I like. That takes nothing away from our single entries that came in as well. We're going to go the youngest class winner over here for my reserve intermediate champion.
Okay, and our reserve is going to be another KF entry. This is going to be KF Mr. 96. So we had KF Mr. 95 and 96. That's cool. And that is going to be also a CC Casanova son, but it is going to be out of the KF Miss Magnum Sting. So
our intermediate champion is Walters Livestock, number 590, KF Mr. 95. And our reserve intermediate champion also went to Walters Livestock 590.
We are moving along.
KF Mr. 96.
Moving right along. We are moving into the first class of the junior.
Our junior champions. There were 3 classes and they were all single classes.
So I guess we're getting ready to move into the junior division drive, huh? Yep, that's what we're doing. We're moving into the junior division drive. Junior division drive. We're zooming. We're not going to be here long. Okay, so this is junior division because we had 3 single entries. Yep, that's what we had. Oops. Okay.
three good single entries here. We'll go ahead and talk them kind of oldest to youngest because I'm standing on this side. A bull that I really like in terms of his feet and legs, really nice out of his hip. He holds himself together great in terms of the move. Right there behind the shoulder, he's ultra powerful. Obviously, if we could change anything, we clean the touch in the navel. But you have to like him out of his hip. Big, long pattern type of a bull, one that's got a good set of feet and legs underneath him. Got a little more moderately framed bull coming in next, chock full of muscle. He's obviously rugged from the ground up, very short cannon, not going to be a super big guy, but if you want to inject some muscle, he's one that'll do it, and he'll also put some bone on your cattle. There's no question about that. Again, gives up a tad bit in terms of some of that style and balance, the one we just described, due to his size and scale, but in the right program, he's a really nice, complete type package. Then you got a bull here on the end that I think just kind of puts it all together for me. One I really like in terms of his feet and legs. I like him out of his hip. He's clean made. He's really pretty on the move as well. Sorry, let me give a more manly term. He's more athletic on the move. Bull that I like. I think he's good enough from the ground up. Love how clean made he is. Like him out of his hip. He's going to be my champion intermediate, junior bull rather. And the one here on the far end will be my reserve junior champion bull, red.
Our junior champion went to Walters Livestock, entry number 589, KF Mr.
Okay, sorry guys,
93.
walked away for a moment,
And our
Tito.
reserve
Catching
junior
up on some
champion went
news.
to Merino
Okay.
Ranches, entry 753, Merino Mr. Wrecking.
So our champion
And I'll
was the
begin our
Walters
senior.
Livestock entry. Oops, okay,
Bulls.
sorry, this is senior. So this is gonna be class number 46, it looks like. Okay, we have two entries in here. This is gonna be class 46. We're zooming right along, guys. We're gonna be very shortly in the, whoops, let's go solo here. We're gonna be very shortly into the Grand Champion, Red Bull. Then we're going in the grays. We're zooming. Okay. So our champion was gonna be that KF Mr. 93. And our reserve champion is going to be the Moreno, Mr. Reckoning. Okay, so this is the first class of the senior bulls. First class of senior red bulls. And then we have two single entries. So I have a feeling they're probably just going to move us right along into the senior division drive.
We're going to sort them like this. I'm going to go with the thicker-ended bull today, a little bit shorter cannon bull, but he absolutely is athletic enough off both ends. He's fairly ground covering for a little bit lower in terms of being lower centered there up front. He's strong right there behind the hump, really carries that all the way throughout his hip, very square and level out of his hip, but more importantly, especially in this division, he's got enough feet and legs for me, and he's got enough expression. When we get to the bull that comes in second in this class, I love from a balance and style standpoint. You're like, well, you just talked about that in the last division. I know that's right, but my point is, I'd like to see this bull just a touch more rugged down low or a touch more expressive. He's got a lot of muscle. It's really long all the way down into his hop. But I'd like to see a little more expression out of his hip or a little more expression from the rear too on the move to go with his bone today. Again, style and balance, all of those things, you have to like him, but I'd sure like him a little more rugged or a little more expressive in this pair.
Okay, that was class 46. Now I have a feeling we're going to be moving into the senior championship drive.
So in that class was class 46. The first place went to Rodriguez Cattle Company and second went to Walters Livestock. Coming back in our senior division, first place was Rodriguez Cattle Company with Mr. Prince D. Apache, 19 over 385. Our second place in that class was Walters Livestock, Walters Romeo Rojo. In class 47, a single entry, Walters Livestock, Mr. H.C. Zeppelin. And in class 48, Herzog Cattle, Mr. CBR 667 over 8. This is your senior champion drive.
Two single entries, and they both warrant more competition in their class. The one that comes out of that intermediate class in the senior division, really strong down his top. I mean, he holds himself from his shoulder to his hip, just rock solid. Bull that's got a lot of mid-rib to him. He's got a good set of feet and legs underneath him. Clean in terms of the angle of that navel. Gets a touch more rounded, but gosh, you watch him on the move, he's real square out of his hip when he's in traction. Have to like that about him. We'll talk about him here in just a minute. And then we have another single entry that I love. A bull that's big, he's stout, he's powerful, all those things. But more importantly, he's still really correct. A bull that's the cleanest made of the three in terms of his navel and his front 1/3. And as long as you're not worried about him being too big, I don't know how you couldn't like him. He's going to be my champion today. We're going to follow with the second place individual single class winner will be my reserve.
Okay, so our champion was the Herzog Cattle Company entry, and that's going to be the Mr. CBR 667 over 8. And that's going to be a Maximus son. Who was reserve? Okay. Okay, it was the Zeppelin. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, the class winner of 47 was going to be reserve
Our
champion.
Red
Both
Bull
of those bulls
is
were the
Herzog
Maximus
Cattle,
sons.
Mr. CBR 667 over 8. And our reserve went to Walters Livestock, Mr. H.C. Zeppelin 100 over 8. Now ready for our all-around champion drive for our Red Bull Show Day.
Okay, we are getting ready to come in, guys, with the, oops, not the senior, sorry. Getting ready to come in with the Grand Red Bulls. Grand Red Bulls. So this is Grand Champion Red Bulls. Then we will shut down for a second and we'll come back with the Gray Bulls. I don't know if they'll have us take some photos now or if they're just going to wait until we do the, they might wait until we do the other bull show. So coming in the arena, we have our calf champion, our intermediate, junior, and senior champion Red Bulls. Hey Ron, thanks for watching. Okay, so my paperwork got all messed up. Now I gotta figure out where I'm at. Okay, got a little lost, guys.
Champion Drive in our calf division.
We'll listen to Trish, you'll know.
Merino Mr. Blackjack was champion, calf champion. Reserve calf champion was Joyce Custom Fitters, CT Red Hot Rhino 17/0. In our intermediate Red Bulls, intermediate champion was Walters Livestock with KF Mister 95. And a reserve intermediate champion was Walters Livestock, KF Mister 96. In our junior division, our champion was Walters Livestock, KF Mister 93, and a reserve junior champion was Merino Ranches, Merino Mr. Wrecking. In our previous senior division, our champion was Herzog Cattle, Mr. CBR 667/8, and our reserve senior was Walters Livestock, Mr. HC Zeppelin 100/8. This is our lineup for our overall champion Red Bull.
Said it a few times today, the numbers weren't here in the Red Bull show, but the quality absolutely showed up. I've talked these bulls, we've still got Grace to follow, so I'm going to kind of keep this thing moving. For me, there's two out here that just kind of stand out that I really, really do like. Quite contrasting in their type and kind, and again, it really kind of depends on the breeding program that you're looking for and ultimately what they're going to throw. But for me, there's two that just really stand out. And again, we talked the big senior bull coming out of that division. When they're big like that, a lot of times they kind of tend to lose some things or just maybe get a little bit more low in the front end, or get a little bit trashier or wastier rather. Sorry, that was a bad term. But for me, this big guy here on the end, he's pretty solid. He's gonna be my champion Red Bull today.
Okay, your grand champion Red Bull is going to
We
be the
will bring up
Herzog
our
entry.
second place
That
from
is a
that
Maximus
class.
son.
Another really good made stout featured bull. However, I'm going to follow back from my intermediate champion bull over here, one that I love in terms of the profile, and I think he's got enough to him from end to end to go with that look. He's going to be my reserve Red Bull today.
And your reserve was? Reserve grand was? Yay, thank you. Which one is that? 95. Thank you, 95, okay.
Our champion
Thank
Red
you.
Bull came out of the senior division, went to Herzog Cattle. And our reserve champion
Okay, those
came
were the
out of our
reds.
intermediate division, Walters Livestock.
Walters Livestock, that was that K-Bar Farms bull that came in as reserve grand. So we're getting ready to shut down, and we will come back shortly with Grays. Are we going to take some photos? Do they want us to do that?
Yes, they want to go ahead and
Okay, I'm going to let you do that.
Take your pause.
All right, bye guys. We'll be back soon.